Hey, I'm Tshaka Armstrong. Thank you for joining me again here on reviews.org. The LG G8 ThinQ. When I first heard about it, I was like, yes, I can't wait to get my hands on this. Then I found out about what it really was. And I was like, nah, I'm good. Then I got my hands on it at the Consumer Electronics Show, and I was like, all right, I'm kind of interested. And now that I've had the chance to live with this phone for a week, I'm in love. So why did I go from nah to ah? Let's unfold all this unique smartphone has to offer. Hey, if this video helps you, any of our videos for that matter, hit us with that thumbs up, hit that subscribe, and the notification bell so you'll be sure to get all our newest videos when they come out. Unboxing the LG G8 ThinQ is a little more complicated than your normal smartphone because what this phone isn't is a one-piece folder. You're actually getting a phone and technically an accessory in one box. Yes, the dual display portion of the G8X is basically a highly functional case with two built-in displays. Matter of fact, I'd go as far as to say it put the DU in dual display. On the outside of the accessory display, you get a small third screen, which is actually showing you information like the time, the date, notifications, etc. Along with the dual display case, you're going to get the usual complement of charging cables, you're going to get earbuds, manuals, SIM keys. Add to that a pogo pin adapter for charging the G8X when it's in its dual display case, and you have everything you need. Though the case does not cover up the headphone jack, yay, it still has one, and the other speaker located on the bottom, it does cover up the USB-C charging port. But that isn't an issue if you have or plan to purchase a wireless charging dock or pad for this phone. Yes, it supports wireless charging, and that's a good thing because the pogo pin adapter is a tad flimsy. It's a magnetic affair with a pinch-shift for falling off given the right amount of pressure. And by right amount, I mean not a lot at all. Fortunately, that is one of the few shortcomings of LG's design where this phone is concerned. The right side of the phone is where you'll find the power button and the microphone. The left side, the volume rocker, the Google Assistant button. The top of the phone is where you'll find the SIM tray. The front of the phone and primary display in the dual display is a 6.4-inch OLED, which is bright and beautiful with a well-hidden speaker grille, part of the stereo pair. A notch which has a 32 megapixel front-facing camera with a 78-degree field of view for those group selfies. And below the display, you'll find a fingerprint sensor. Around back, you'll find cameras and no bump. These two flush cameras are a standard 12 megapixel optical image stabilized and 13 megapixel ultra-wide shooter with dual LED dual tone flash. No 4K video recording on this phone, but you do get 2160p at 30 or 60 frames per second. I took some video for my IG of me failing a 400-pound deadlift, and it looked great up until the point where it stopped recording right before my failed attempt. The screen lock timeout interrupted the video record. So if you're going to be recording video, keep that in mind. I've gone through the phone's menus with a fine-tooth comb and have yet to find a way or feature which allows you to supersede any screen timeout when recording video. If you're watching and you found such a thing, let us know in the comments below. Under those cameras, you'll find a large 4,000 milliamp hour battery that supports Qualcomm's QC 4.0 fast charging or 21 watt fast charging and 9 watt wireless charging. What that means in real world terms is that from zero, you should reach a full charge in 90 minutes, which also means that you're going to get that battery a third of the way in roughly 30 minutes. As I mentioned, the G8X supports 21 watt charging, but The charger that is included is rated roughly 16 watts. So if quick charging is important to you, you're going to want to buy an aftermarket 21-watt charger. Back to that battery and the dual screens. LG estimates that you're going to see up to a 30% faster drain with the dual screen on all the time, which may make some users consider shutting it off when not in use, but call me crazy. I don't want to have to think about whether I've been using it too much or not. So during my testing, I spent a significant amount of time with it on all day, and it definitely does make a difference. My days are long, so my phone comes off the charger around 4 a.m. and doesn't go back on until around 9 p.m. And at that time, I was around 20% left on the phone at night without placing it on a charger at any point throughout the day with both screens on all day. Now, when I tested the LG G8X only, no dual screen on, I regularly had around 40% battery left at the end of the night. Part of that is because the battery is so large. The other part is due to the lower resolution of the screen compared to some other flagship phones. Now, you know what doesn't compare to other flagship phones? My unexpected, unbridled joy with this phone. I thought it was going to be a gimmick. I thought it was going to be just this real gimmicky thing, but I thoroughly enjoyed this dual screen setup. In a day when we're seeing folders that open up and are either very expensive or have some quirks, this phone just works, and for hundreds less, and it's a great time. It's implemented well, and you can even download a utility which allows you to push content across both screens. We'll link to that in the comments below. It's somewhat a novelty though, as you're gonna have your content stretch across a thick black hinge. What LG gives you natively is highly functional and goes far beyond being novel. You have an on-screen utility to help you with that. Using it, you can activate and deactivate dual screen, as well as change which is the primary and swap screens. When you turn on screen rotate, you can use the dual screen keyboard function, which will allow you to have an app open in one screen and the keyboard open up on the second screen. So far, I've found this only works on apps which support landscape orientation. Typing in this mode is fast. The other mode this phone supports is LG Gamepad for a more traditional gaming experience. What this does is turn the main screen into a virtual console gaming controller, complete with a few different styles of controllers. You get the traditional console style like your PS4, or a racing style, an arcade style joystick, basic, and space for a custom setup. I played Asphalt 9 and the graphics, without lag, were beautiful on that second display. The controller on the second screen was responsive, and the overall experience is consistent across the board, meaning at no time did this ever feel like I was using an accessory. It never feels like it's underpowered and can't keep up, or that it was a good idea but lackluster execution. Every time, in all the use cases I've tried so far, this just works. Part of the reason for this consistent experience is the use of Qualcomm's Snapdragon 855 processor, 6 gigabytes of RAM, and an Adreno 640 graphics processing unit. These are all top shelf components and mated to a 1080p screen, or in this case, 2 of them. At no time does the user, me or you, feel like it needs more power. Well, there is one area, but it has nothing to do with graphics processing, and that is the digital to analog converter. The G8X still has its audio jack, and like its predecessors, it has a built-in DAC, which reproduces a stereo image which leaves little to be desired, until we get to loudness. Highs, mids, and lows were all reproduced from audio tracks with great detail, and even in my car, hooked up to the aux jack and taking advantage of the premium speakers, sound was superb. This was also where I first noticed how low the sound was out of that jack, even with the quad DAC activated. I had to crank my stereo up to 50, where listening around 30 is average for my commutes to and from work. Good thing you won't be disappointed by the output of the built-in stereo speakers though. The bottom speaker on the G8X outputs mostly bass and mids, while the earpiece is responsible for the highs. LG UX 9.0 sees major changes from version 8.0. The Settings app has been refined and improved over version 8.0, and generally icons and menus are much improved. With the fingerprint scanner under the display, you get a fast way to unlock your phone, which does produce some misses from time to time, but it is reliable overall. You can customize the icons and add new ones, though the options aren't many. I counted 11 icon packs to choose from. Fortunately, you get many more options for wallpapers for this dual screen device from the LG Smart World store. There are some really cool dual screen wallpapers you can purchase, though I'm a huge geek and having two screens for me means the ability to have two different superhero, anime, or fantasy wallpapers at one time. It's a pretty customizable interface, so you'll definitely want to take the time to get into it and play around. And I know you want to know about these cameras, so let's take a look. The main camera shoots beautiful pics which produce accurate colors with solid sharpness and contrast. The ultra-wide angle lens does a respectable job when it comes to color accuracy, contrast, and sharpness. The low light photos are impressive. As you can see in these, the contrast is solid and the separation in color between the grass and sidewalk is sharp, with the color accuracy very strong. You do get some noise or grain in the sky, but given how balanced the exposure is and the admirable color reproduction, I'll give that a pass. One of the things I noticed when using night view is that the difference between the photos I took with it on and with it off were negligible. That says a lot about the stock shooter you'll probably end up using most of the time. And one of the things I warn users about these ultra-wide angle lenses is that they're going to get lower quality when it comes to night and low light photos, but that wasn't quite the case with the G8X. Its ultra-wide lens produces photos which are serviceable and keep the colors accurate with grain that is passable, all things considered. It really is a really solid low light shooter for a wide angle lens. So let's wrap things up. The G8X and its dual screen option are unexpected. This is not a foldable phone, but it is far beyond being a gimmick. If you're after a foldable phone, this device may scratch that itch while we wait for prices to come down and the tech to improve on true folding phones. In the meantime, you'll have a capable multitasker, which is an excellent gamer and takes solid photos at more than half the cost of a phone like the Galaxy Fold. Buying unlocked direct from LG will cost you $999, but Sprint has it with the dual screen accessory free for a total cost of $749 or $15 a month on their Sprint Flex 18-month lease. Will this be everyone's cup of tea? No. But much like matcha, it's strong, energizing, and those looking for what it has to offer won't be let down by its performance. It'll definitely keep you going all day long, just like that cup of matcha. Hey, we don't take it lightly that you spent your time watching this video with us. We thank you for that. And if it's helped you, if it's informed you, please hit that like, that thumbs up, that subscribe, hit those notifications so you get the notification when our next video comes out. Again, thank you for watching. I'm Tshaka Armstrong for Reviews.org.